What is going on, Reality After Show? I'm here with Jonny Fairplay as usual. Mike Turner from Survivor and season 42, one of our favorites. You've been on the show with us, Mike, in the past. It's been a minute, but we're excited. And Jonny, just because you're dairy daddied out, tell our listeners, it's the elephant in the room. What are the dairy daddies?
So the Danville minor league baseball team is the Danville Otterbots, and we have a league there, and we're in the East Coast League or the Appalachian League or whatever, and they've added another league, and it's supposed to be kind of more like the Savannah Bananas. It's a little more fun. Maybe these kids aren't going to make it to the pros, but it's another league that's running at the same time as the Otterbots. And it's all about fun. And peek behind the curtain, July 25th, I think Big Tom and Lex will be first base and third base coaching the Dairy Daddies with beers in hand on first base and third base.
So is this like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, or
no? It's like the Savannah, but they're playing baseball. It's real. I mean, they're actually playing, but there's shenanigans happening throughout.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Where the Otterbots is more of a real.
Yeah. A lot of those kids make it to the pros, and So, but I'm apparently the mascot for the Dairy Daddies, because when you think Daddy, you think Jonny Fairplay. But the reason I kind of brought you all together here, I caught up on the Survivor Specialist podcast today. They had Peridiam, who does those amazing YouTube videos talking about previous seasons and previous players. I don't think he loves me, but that's fine. I love him. He's great. Yeah. And they were looking at potentially casting season 50. And they went about an hour. And at the end of the hour, they were just like, what's probably going to happen? Jeff loves Tribes of Three. Loves it. Mm-hmm. So with that mentality, Jeff's probably just going to do 8 people, old school tribe, 8 people, new school tribe, 8 people, new era tribe. Mm-hmm. It's probably that simple. It's probably what we're going to get.
I would be cool with that.
I'm typically against a 3 tribe deal or whatever, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm like, I think I like it. I think that works because there are and I it's funny because you would think that the new school players play more of a new era game, but maybe they feel more old school in that they're not a part of the new. It's such a I think it lends itself to something really awesome, and I think it appreciates all 3 totally different eras. That is what makes Survivor what we see today.
Yeah, I agree. And what I was going to say too, the one thing that I don't like about 3 tribes typically is 2 of the 3 tribes you're not getting to learn about character development, etc. However, on a all-star season of returning players, we already know who each player is.
Yeah.
We don't need the backstory. So a 3 tribe thing, I'm actually cool with. I would prefer them to switch tribes up. I still don't want to see like a losing tribe every fucking time, going to tribal every time. So I would be fine with a quick switch up of things.
I'm cool with 3 merging to 2 quickly.
I do too. I think they'll have a tribe swap quickly because now you have different eras playing with each other, and who can you trust? It'll make it such a better dynamic.
Yeah. So, but I'm not opposed to having it start as 3 tribes representing their individual eras because I want to see what happens in those eras in those tribes. But I'm talking episode 3 becomes 2.
Yeah. So, and the other thing that's sick is, if there was 3 tribes, you have so much awesome shit. Like if the beginning is Survivor 50, we bring 3 tribes from the 3 different, time period. And then they're going to go back in time. The first half hour of the show could be literally highlight reels of everything that went down, getting you excited. And then it's like, now we're here to play the game. I love it. I'm already excited for season 50. And I know, Mike, you are part of the new era. I mean, we talked before Johnny got on about like, how are you feeling about current Survivor? And you were saying how since I played the game, I look at Survivor like a little differently, like it's kind of not as sacred and it just the behind the scenes.
Yes,
You know what I mean, it's like
behind the curtain.
Yeah,
peek behind the curtain.
Yes.
In general, though, I mean, are you stoked that you got to be a part of what they call new era versus you getting cast like years ago?
You know what? If I had a choice, I'm an old school kind of guy because I'm a lot older than most of the young kids today. So I love the old Survivor. But in saying that, I was extremely stoked to be part of the new era. And quite frankly, I think the new era is really good. I like it a lot. I also think it's different than the other eras. But it's a different game. It's a different dynamic. There's so many things that are going on in the 20 days, 6 season that wasn't going on a 39 day and vice versa. So I think it's two completely different things. And that's why I like that 3-tribe different era season 50, because now we'll really find out who handles the 39-day season as opposed to the 26-day season. And because with the 26-day season, you have a lot less time to get your ass hurt that you're not mad anymore than when you do it a 39-day season. You have more time to get over it. And that's the biggest difference, I think, in the eras.
Yeah, right. And the specialists and Peridiam, they were talking. They're just like, with a 24-person cast, the 3 tribes of 8, this has to be 39 days.
I agree.
It has to be. It has to be. So, and and they were also talking, but they were just like, but is Jeff really going to do back to back? Like is he going to do it there? He's done with the 39-day season. And if you look at it, if he were to do a 26-day season, that's a lot. It's okay. We're all good. We can live with 39 one time only. And if you like it, keep it. If you don't. But we need 24 players to represent. I mean, we've been told this is a year-long celebration, season 50.
Yes.
If that's the case, give us 39 days, give us 24 players.
Yep.
Let's see it. So, and Mike, like I know you are a part of the new era, but at the same time, like you do hearken, you do hearken to me the archetype of a old school or new school, not new era player because of your age.
I totally agree. I think I relate more to the old school players, obviously because I'm older, and my thought process is totally different than I think the young. I'm a different generation, so there's things that I do and I say that make me much more of an old school player.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Well, I'm glad you're part of it.
Yeah.
You make me like I say mean things, and folks,
I love it.
I'm just trying to ruffle feathers and be a dickhead sometimes. I do enjoy the new era. Okay, for the most part, I enjoy post-merge a lot more than pre-merge in the new era. Yes. I feel there are some immensely weaker players in the pre-merge, and I feel I can say that I earn the right. It does say Survivor Hall of Famer at the bottom of my gimmick. So let's go in reverse order. I know I kind of threw a little monkey wrench in what you guys are potentially thinking, but I want to start with season 46 and work our way back to 41. And if this dynamic is what we're potentially looking at, and Mike, I wanted you here to be the voice of the voiceless for the new era. And we have I'm old school, and we have new school, Matt Bischoff. I feel like we have representation covered to some degree. I would just in terms of where these 3 tribes could be cast from. Let's see if we can assemble 8 players, and I think at the end of the day we have to figure out 4 male, 4 female, or or 3 male, 3 female, 2 none of the above, or whatever. Let's figure out an equal split, and let's see if we can cast the 8 people that should represent the new era.
It's going to be fun.
Yes. Okay. So, well, starting with, as I said, reverse order. Let's start with 46. Let's do a little recency bias here. I got 2 names. I have 2 names for each season. So, if you guys don't mind, I'll start out. I'm going to throw out 2 names right here. Number 1, with a bullet, I'm going Venus, and I'm following that up with the Q.
So those are great picks, and I actually really like both those players, and I would love to see them again. When I initially, Johnny, you kind of texted me what the theme of this podcast was going to be, and I just randomly was like, ooh, like this. I wasn't looking at seasons. I wasn't looking at gender. I wasn't looking
you don't need to. I mean, it should be what you're thinking. So I went one step further, but in those 2 really called to me, and I think what you're about to say is going to call to you as well.
Yeah, I mean, so I initially did not write anyone down from season 46.
Ooh.
But since we're talking about it, I did like a lot of players from season 46. Banu, not one of them. I mean, no offense to Banu, but as a player, I wouldn't want to see him. Venus and Q. Q got a lot of shit, even on our own podcast of like, he's not the greatest game player. He was, making dumb moves, but I thought Q was one of those entertaining and memorable players from season 46. So I like Q. Q's out there doing his own thing. Just did the pickleball match with Tyson.
Did they get whooped? I saw the beginning.
I did not watch it. I didn't watch it.
I did. Mike, did you watch?
No, I didn't watch it.
Okay, I watched. They were down like 8-3 or something in the first game. It looked like it was. So the premise was Tyson was going to single-handedly defeat. He had his pickleball partner with him.
Mm-hmm. So he was going to single-handedly. Was it Hunter and Q?
Hunter and Q, yeah. Okay. But he had a partner with him.
Okay,
right.
So it wasn't I don't know if it ended up being 2-on-1, but he had his professional pickleball part. They were owning that. Tyson was just the points they lost were Tyson trying to embarrass them on those points, and it was like, I'll get on the next one.
Yeah. I have not, but so I did not write anyone down. However, if we're going to collectively at the end of this podcast come to a mutual deal of people, I'm going to jot down in my notes, Venus and Q would be 2 that I would pick for 46, 100%.
Yeah, 46. Listen, I thought they were great characters, but I also wanted good gameplay. And again, you don't know everything that's going on, but I didn't see great gameplay. So sure. I was looking for, I guess, just being a little more old school in my heart. I enjoy good gameplay. I like good strategy. I like good social games. I personally didn't think either one of them had that. Now, they were entertaining. I had fun watching them, but the whole season had a bunch of big characters. And so they kind of blended, and they almost fought for camera time as being characters. So I focused on 46, which what I thought was much more traditional, old school strategic games. So I like Charlie. Mainly because I thought he played a great game, and he kind of proves my point, I think, where he lost because Maria didn't vote for him, because I think she was still pissed at him about, the day before. She didn't have time to get over it. So I think if she thought logically and had time to get over it, I always liken this, it's a poker. You play poker with your friends, you're around the table, and you have a pair of deuces, and your friend has a full house, and you bluff him. Bluffing is lying. We lie on Survivor. And you show your deuces, and he has a full house, and you beat him because he went out. He's friggin' pissed. He might even be pissed at you a little bit. But the next day, he's like, you know what? I was pissed. Yes, I apologize. But that was a great move.
Yeah, the vote's not the next day.
Well, it is. Well,
Oh, well, I got in that aspect it was, but yeah.
right, in that aspect, it was. So they have less time, especially when you get down to the final five. You have no time to get over what just happened to you, and you're pissed at who did it to you, and you don't let it go. So I think that's with the 39th season, you have at least 2 days to figure it out and say, you know what, I'm pissed, but it was a good move.
Mhm.
Emotionally, I don't think you do now with the shorter season.
Yeah. So, but your pick is Charlie.
Yeah, I like Charlie. I thought he played a good game.
Yeah, I wasn't Charlie. I mean, like, it seems like a good kid. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, so I feel like it kind of goes there for me. Like, I don't want to like. I love Run the Jewels, and and I love Metallica. I'm looking at my records over here. I love Eazy-E. I love Soundgarden. I love Prince. I don't want to hear anyone talk about a musician for more than 8 episodes ever in the history of Survivor. So I kind of felt like I got all I needed from Charlie already. And once again, seems like a good kid. I wish him the best, but I feel like I got my fill personally. Whereas Q, I feel like, maybe a horrible game player, don't care. I think he's a good person. I feel season 50, if it's a look, I want this thing character driven. I want people making dumb moves. I want, I want good TV. And I feel that Venus and Q for me give me better television than a game bot talking about Taylor Swift.
Fair point. That's a very fair point.
Yeah. Matt, where are you at on that?
Yeah, I mean, Charlie it's like that Carson kind of player, like Charlie. When I watched him on 46, I liked him, but I don't need to see Charlie again. I would rather see someone like Venus, who I think is smart, easy on the eyes, and she's more villainous. I think we need more villains on Survivor. And like I said, Q. If Kenzie didn't win, I might say Kenzie, but I don't want to pick a winner. I want to have someone come back.
Kenzie's she's done with Survivor.
Okay. Oh, really? No matter what.
Yeah. The fans have ruined that for her.
Okay. Well, and then Q. I as a fan of his, I like Q's whole persona.
Sure.
I think he had good confessionals. So I those two would be who I would pick.
Okay. All right. So,
but I didn't pick anybody originally. But those are in our once we
kind of
deliberate. Yes.
Yeah. And recency bias does go a long way in casting.
True.
So keep that in mind.
Very true.
Okay. So season 45. If you got, I'll let Mike if you have someone season 40. All right.
I love Caleb and I love Emily Flippin. Those are my 2 picks for 45.
That's right there. That's my list.
Yeah, I love them. I thought Emily played great. She was entertaining. She was smart. And she was a lot of fun. And Caleb, I almost thought he was too good. And that's why he was gone. If he learned to tone down how good he is and what he knows,
absolutely, he
would go a lot further. But I love him. He was entertaining. He was confident. He was everything that I like in a player.
I peek real quick, Matt. Peek behind the curtain. Caleb was going to join us. He's actually playing a pickup basketball game right now, so he couldn't be here. And he actually hit up Emily and asked Emily if she'd like to join us. And he was like, "Yeah, she can't make it." However, in our preseason cast assessment, I made fun of Emily. I said, "Where did she get that shirt? Not even Old Navy would sell that shirt." And she wanted me to know the shirt was in fact from Old Navy. So love you, Emily, that's so on brand for Emily. Emily was one of my favorite players in the history of the new era. I wish she had kept a little more I loved her being so abrasive. Like that was, for me, that was so fun. And her realizing that. But I wish there had been a little more of a sting to her on the tail end that I felt we lost, because I felt like she was course correcting possibly too much. I mean, just for my liking, possibly course correcting too much and being overly. So I would love to find a perfect medium or a happy balance there of seeing that piss and vinegar that made her such a dynamic character out of the gate. That is not long for the game, but something in between that she can bite but maintain.
I agree.
Well, for me, it's funny because on my list that I had compiled on my piece of paper, I had no one from season 45 on my main list. However, when I was looking at, I Google search new era characters, Emily and Caleb are definitely up there for me. Caleb's super nice guy, amazing, one of the best players of season 45. And Emily was probably my number one. I hate this person more than I've hated a Survivor.
Perfect.
In many years. Like episode 1, I was like, oh my God, I loathe this person.
Oh, I love episode 1. I haven't loved a player more in the new era.
And I tell you what, she really kind of, I went, I was podcasting. I was like, I fucking hate this person. And I'm like, week after week, I went from like, man, I don't know if I hate her so much. Then fuck, I love her. So I think she's great at ultimate villain. Like I said, I'd like to see her and Venus on a tribe together. But unfortunately, on my original list, I did not put those two players, but I'm in 100% agreement.
Yeah.
They should be in the mix.
And Caleb, I would love to see Caleb play the game without the gimmicks. I mean, once again, we're talking potentially 3 tribes of 8, potentially 24 people, and potentially, well, I think one thing is for certain, all returning players, we don't need the gimmicks. We don't need the beware. We don't need that. It's great in the, if we don't have the cast that you think can carry this, this cast is going to carry the season. No problem. No gimmicks needed is what, is where I look at this. And with that, I think Caleb is a person, because I've met him, and he's all Caleb is a person that one-on-one and one-on-three, in these individual relationships and conversations, this guy can carry himself far into the game, no problem, without a stupid dice. So I would love to see Caleb play what I consider, and this is very antiquated by me saying it, and I admit that, a real version of Survivor. This is someone out there that I'd really love to see to play the game, and Emily's right there with him.
Yeah, that awesome points. So, man, now we're back down to season 44. I can't believe.
Yes,
it's just. These seasons go so quickly. It's like bam, bam, bam. And reminiscing and kind of looking back at the cast, I'm like, you know what? As much as we kind of talk about, new era is so different, there's some great players and some great characters from the new era. So I'm going to start on this one. So season 44, I have Carolyn, one of the most unique players. Obviously, she's going to be on Traders.
Currently filming right now.
Yeah, currently filming. But I want her on her own. I don't want Carson. I want Carolyn. I think she's wacky. I think she's entertaining. I think she's unique. And her on a season with returning player, like all-star type players, I think will be awesome. And then, of course, we always would say, this is the gay Matt Bischoff. Matt, I think it's Grinzel. Originally, I met him when he was in Columbus, Ohio. He has since
I thought we
moved.
had the gay Matt Bischoff.
Well, think what you want, but I've been married to my wife for 24 years. But yeah, Matt, I think he hurt his shoulder, and I think he had a lot of game in him. He's a huge fan, and he came to our viewing party, and such an awesome guy,
Really
great
awesome
competitor, and I think that he could have gone really far. He was my winner pick for season 44.
I think far also, but
so
he got hurt by his own demise.
Yes, he did get hurt. I'm okay with Matt coming back on a second chance season or something. Not season 50. I think it's above his pay grade.
I agree with that.
So, but big fan.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying on that. When I
Yeah.
think about it like that, I hear you.
Yeah.
But I did think he had a chance for greatness, and quite frankly, he screwed it up by
Yeah.
doing dumb.
Yes.
Well,
right.
I mean, I think in his head he was there for the quote unquote adventure of a lifetime, and I wouldn't be shocked to hear production is just like, hey, go have that adventure of a lifetime, and so and whereas you have so many people, and it's not necessarily just the new era. I like to pick, but I mean, I can tell you on the 2 seasons I was on, there are many people that never left the shelter. I mean, like I don't even know if they left the shelter with a pee. I mean, like people just don't leave the shelter. That happens, and I am I do go on the front yard and yell at the sun and raise my fist in the air, but it's just like, you darn millennials, you don't do anything. That's me. I'm almost as old as Mike. I mean, in 30 years, I'll be there. But I don't know if it was self-inspired or production inspired, but he did want to make it the adventure of a lifetime for himself, and I applaud him for that. I mean, like a 50-year-old Jonny Fairplay. I have 2 kids and a smoking hot fiance going, don't do anything stupid, and after that, don't do anything. So I understand that little chirping in your head that could tell you one thing, and you have production going, Jonny Fairplay, go be stupid.
It's good TV.
Yeah, go make good TV. And good TV is not smart, So I get it. True. So I applaud him for trying to make it the adventure of a lifetime for himself internally.
Well, I think, like I said, I went to Columbus to go eat at his restaurant. Couldn't have been nicer. And one of the highlights of one of our viewing parties in the last couple of years was him being there. Because Sandra was there.
Beating you at fire.
He did. There might have been a little cheating going on. I don't know.
Who's to say I had a lighter?
Yes, it was great. It was great.
All right, Mike, who you got for
I gotta tell you, I'm with Matt. I like Carolyn. I think she's a great character. I think she's great TV. I think she's way smarter and more strategic than she lets on to be. I think that she's endearing, and I think that people friggin' either gonna love her or hate her, which makes for great TV.
It's
she's either
polarizing television.
The crap out of people, or people gonna pull her in and say we love her.
Yeah, polarizing TV. So and a polarizing player to work with or against.
Yes.
I have Carolyn on my list as well. I think that's a no-brainer, and I'm going to shuck a few people here because I guess we do have a little Twitter beef before the blocking began. I got Jam on my list. Now I know there's this like you already won, blah 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 dynamic. I think we are going to see a Boston Rob out there. I think we are going to see a Parvati out there. I think we are going to see a Sandra Diaz-Twine out there. I think we potentially a Tony Vlachos. I think we are going to see winners out there. And I want an even playing field here. So if there's 8 old school, 8 new school, 8 new era, I want 8 winners out there as well. Because I don't feel it's like if I'm there, if I were to be chosen, I don't want to go out there and say, hey, I won, but there were 6 winners and they picked off the winners, and then Johnny beat the scraps.
Mm-hmm.
I think potentially I think you can easily Venn diagram this thing to make it even across the board, and yes, we had winners at war, and we saw the dynamics of 12 versus 8, new school versus old school. What happened? New school ate them up because it was just a game of numbers. Mm-hmm. I want a fair fight. So I'm not a winner. I mean, I should be saying the exact opposite, but I'm not. So
I'm gonna go with the opposite. I don't want any winners. And I love Jam. I thought he was amazing. I thought his character was great. One of my favorite winners of all time. I'm just thinking season 50. I don't think there should be any winners. I think they got their million. They won. They
Well,
got their title.
I think they're gonna put a winner. And if I can go back in time a little bit, season 45, I think Dee has a pretty strong chance as well. I mean, she's literally doing the podcast with Jeff Probst right now.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
So
She definitely has an edge.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but from season 44, I like Jam and Caroline and or Carolyn and I would who's to say they'd work together?
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yep. I like Jam a lot too, but like I am kind of like I realize that it's inevitable with so many legendary players that they're probably gonna be winners on there.
Yeah.
But when I originally chose my list, that's why I
You
didn't
purposely chose no winners. I get
Yes,
it.
yeah.
But like, and I literally had D on my list first, and I like somehow I scrolled,
Well,
but yeah. So
and
going
Johnny,
back
the
in time,
truth is-
I have D on my list for season 45.
You know, I purposely didn't choose winners because quite frankly, if you won, you probably were dynamic out there. You probably had great strategy. You probably were good socially. You were a great character. And why would I want them out there again? That's
We've
it.
already
Go.
seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
already
got you.
done.
I got you. I'm just trying to think with my producer's Deary Daddy's hat on. I think they're going to have some winners, and let's even up this gunfight.
Mhm.
Right.
There you
Let's
go.
let's give everybody the same amount of bullets.
So that was season 44. Moving on to 43. This one was a tough one for me because there was a couple people that I was like, oh, I had to narrow it down. But Jesse Lopez is hands down. I want to see him play Survivor again. I've never met Jesse Lopez.
Oh wow!
I know Johnny, you have a bunch, and but Jesse was great. I think he's an awesome player. I love his backstory. He just great on the show Survivor. So I liked him and want to see him play. And then originally I was going to say Noel, but I changed my mind because I realized that Carla, our friend Carla, who I think is awesome as shit. She's been on the podcast before doing cast assessments. One of my favorite new era players. I think she's badass and entertaining as hell, and just a great player that I think could really go well on a season like season 50. So Carla is my choice, and Jesse Lopez.
Those before you go, those are my two.
Really?
Yeah, those are mine too,
dude.
Okay, so listen, I love Jesse. I thought he was great. But I honestly I loved Carla and I love Noel. I thought
Yeah.
Noel brings a lot to the table. Obviously, underdog story. She puts it out there every time. She doesn't let anything, her deficiencies at all, get in the way of her being a good player. She doesn't use it as an excuse. I love it. Great character, a lot of heart. And Carla is just dynamic. And I just, I want to see her again because she's so dynamic out there. And you know what? She's not afraid to say what she feels. And I love that out there because so many people, including myself sometimes, were afraid to say what you feel because it can affect you adversely. She wasn't to me.
Yeah.
So we're all on this. I mean, that's interesting because we come from three different kind of time frames in Survivor history, and we all are on the same page with.
We're on the
those
same page
players.
with Carla. I think Jesse had one of the greatest moments in the history of New Era. No contest. And so, I mean, on a season 50, you're going to have the people that had those great moments. I mean, because as you said, Matt, like probably the first 30 minutes are just showing highlights of some of the greatest moments in the history of the show. And you'd be remiss not to show Jesse with his checklist.
Yeah. Yep. Totally. Totally. Well, that was easy. 43 bangers. Moving on to season 42, and
I'm out of here.
I love it. So here's the thing. So far on my list, I haven't had a lot of. I didn't say like Carolyn and Carson or this and that, but I do have. Obviously, it's a no-brainer for me. Mike, this is not because you're on the podcast.
Well, Mike did ask if he could name himself. He did text me.
I'm naming myself because I think I was one of the better players on 42.
I agree.
You and Jonathan.
Yeah.
You and Jonathan, that's who I cast. I know, like, my wife, if I said, who from 42, she would be like, oh, yeah, she'd be the same. love you, love Jonathan. She loved his Jason Momoa chiseled, gorgeous body.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
Pretty good without a shirt on.
Not Jonathan Fairplay.
oh, sorry. I was about to say it's just Johnny. It's not Jonathan.
Yes. But we haven't had a lot of just physically beastly people.
And you need it. If this is the three eras, there's going to be some studs from the old school, even though we're older, and studs from the new school.
Yes. So Mike and John.
Listen, Jonathan's a no-brainer. Jonathan, listen, I witnessed it. I was there. He's one of the greatest physical threats I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Forget about just Survivor. In my life, he's a natural at everything. Whatever he does, he's great at. He sings like he's a Broadway singer. He can even sing. It's disgusting. Yeah. But even out there, like he did more stuff that they even didn't even show. If they showed everything he did out there with climbing trees and getting coconuts and the fishing he did out there, he was incredible. He's, to me, listen, I love him as a person, but I also separate what I think he is. He's absolutely one of the greatest physical players to ever play Survivor, and you can't leave him off the list.
He's a great kisser too.
He did well once in a while. Sometimes he uses too much tongue.
Too much tongue. Yeah, I was about to say too much tongue. Too much tongue. It's weird.
Right, and I also think, listen, it's kind of douchey for me to name myself, but I think I played a good game, and I think I have a lot more to offer.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm in full agreement.
Mike, I think you were, and if you weren't here, I would say the same thing. I mean, my list doesn't change with you or without you here. I love that you're the embodiment of the old school mentality in the new era.
Thank you.
And I think that I think there's very few people that can represent that, and I have you on here because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And I thought you were great. I mean, you were my first boot, second boot.
Listen, Johnny didn't say too many nice things in the assessment podcast that you guys did. I forgot what you said, but it was pretty funny. And listen, to be honest with you, I was getting roasted by Jonny Fairplay at the time. I thought it was amazing. I was bragging about it.
Well, apparently Emily was bragging about her Old Navy shirt. Yes. So the tradition continues. I only roast the ones I really secretly love. You know that, right?
Of course.
Yes. So,
by the way, on a side note, I actually paid for a cameo from Jonny Fairplay, and I made him say on the cameo to tell me that I was the greatest Survivor player he's ever saw.
Yes, that's awesome.
Got to do it. I still have it, by the way.
Yeah, cameo.com/Jonny Fairplay. I too will lie and tell you that you're great.
He did. By the way, Johnny does amazing cameos, so it's great.
Thank you.
Oh, I've been in the background of many a cameo when he's at my house. Yeah. He's recording them all the time.
Oh, it's never ending. It's fun. Thank you, people. I appreciate doing them. So yes. Thank you for asking, and thank you, Mike, for having me tell. Like, for anyone that thought the dead grandma lie was the biggest lie I've ever told. No, saying Mike is the greatest survivor of all time is number
there's
one.
a new great lie from Jonny Fairplay. Mike is the greatest Survivor player I ever saw.
So, are you in agreement, Johnny, with John?
That was my list. That was my I had also I want you were saying that you don't like the tandems and stuff. I want season 50 to have some tandems in there, and I would love a tandem or two that maybe make it through eras if possible, of different deals. So no, but I do want Carolyn and Jam Jam. I do want Mike and Jonathan. I do want Tony Vlachos and Jeremy Collins. Mm-hmm. I want those. I do too. I want those pairs that are potentially immediate targets, but guaranteed alliances that maybe aren't guaranteed alliances. There's so many dynamics that go into a returnee season. 2, 5, 10, and 20 years later, that shit just fucking changed.
Yeah, right.
You know what I love? The new era, obviously a lot of huge Survivor fans. To see them on with two different other eras, and just see them be enamored, will that affect them and how they play the game? And will they turn on that duo that was supposed to be a great alliance going in? Because
Yeah.
say you're on, Johnny, you're talking to somebody and they're a big fan of yours, they may turn on their ride or die. And
Yeah.
that's what makes it great.
I think Carolyn and Jam Jam, there's no guarantee they're working together whatsoever.
None at all.
That's why I'm casting them. But I want that duo there. I'm pretty sure I'd bet the bank you and Jonathan aren't turning on each other. But I want that.
Right.
So and Tony and Jeremy, who's to say what happens on Traders right now? Maybe they're not friends anymore, or maybe they're twice as great of friends.
True.
So I want Rupert and Sandra.
It's crazy that as you guys are naming, and I'm sitting here talking about the duos because I had a duo with Michael Snow and I on my season. I think there's so many epic duos in Survivor history that you could do a whole season called duos.
They discussed that on the Survivor Specialist podcast.
Oh wow!
And Will, who's worked on the production side, basically said that the problem with that is you're already constricting yourself and who you're going to have there. And because they thought about doing rivals, and it's just like, okay, this person's rivals this person rivals this person, and then we have to get the equal number male, equal number female, the people color. It's just like, fuck that.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Let's pick the fucking great players. Let's put them on the table, and it will probably work out that we're getting our males, we're getting our females, we're getting our people of color, we're getting everything because the cream rises to the top. These people were not pigeonholed by that's their other part, whatever. If we pick the greatest people, we're gonna have the greatest people. And so, but that duos thing, Will was talking specifically, it's just like it really pigeonholes you in your casting. And why do that on a season 50? Why pigeonhole yourself in any if this is season, if they were doing, season 44 duos, that's fine. This is season 50. We want the best of the best. There's no reason to.
I wasn't. What I'm saying, not have that duos as the theme for. I would just like this. Season 56 could be duos.
Yeah,
I think that could be a standalone season on its own.
But I also want that to be a component of season 50, which is on paper the best season of all time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Without it even happening.
Yeah.
We're all we all. I mean, we could be let down. We might not be let down. Yeah. But on paper right now, all we're thinking is season 50 will be the greatest season of all time. So do not pigeonhole yourself with duos. What's that, Mike? Sorry.
It's going to be amazing. Whether I'm there or not, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. So, but I do want some duos. As I said, if we have 6 duos out of 24 people, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. True. So we're on this 42s. We're all on the same page. Moving back to the last season of the new era.
Oh yeah,
which was 41.
This is tough. I got friends I'm gonna upset.
I gotta tell you, season 41 doesn't get enough credit, but you have a lot of good players on 41 and a lot of good characters.
I know.
I think some have been forgotten, which is sad.
Yeah, I have 4 people from season 41.
I got 3.
I have 2. I put Xander Hastings and Ricard is who I put.
Strong.
That's strong.
Now, in the chat right now, Kyle Dorr put Shannon Ricard 100%. And since we are talking about the pairs, the duos,
that's a duo.
Yeah, the Ricard
and they are not working together if they were to come back.
Yeah.
But they couldn't even be in the same room at Hearts of Reality.
Wow. So yeah, I'm gonna add Shan. I would only want Shan if it was Shan and Ricard. I don't want Shan on her own. So that, because I really like Xander Hastings and I really like Ricard. I think he's a great player, so I'd love to see him. He's one of the more memorable for the new era for me.
Sure. Mike, where are
Okay.
you at?
I got Shan, and I got Tiffany Seeley. I freaking love her. I think she has a lot more to offer. I think she's feisty. I think she's funny. I think she's underrated. And a couple of bad things, bad luck things happen. She might have went further. I think she has a lot to offer. And Shan, obviously, it speaks for itself. I mean, Ricard is right there. Like I said, in Xander, I think 41 is an underrated season and underrated players. And I can't argue with Xander either. I think he was great, but I love Tiffany, I love Shan and Ricard. I love the three of them.
With Tiffany, I got her with Matt on the other season. I think Tiffany has a very solid spot for me personally on a second chance season.
Gotcha.
So I mean, like, if season 50 has the quote unquote legends tag on it, in the history of survivors that I've met that are awesome, Tiffany's there, but like that's not the tagline behind it. It's it's the survivors I saw on TV and how they played on TV. So
Right.
Tiffany, I have a huge personal recommendation for her on a second chance season all day long. So my four are and I'm going to end it with my number one that of the first person that should be cast from the new era, and I think you're all wrong on everything. So my four, I've Ricard, Xander, Danny McRae, and number one with the bullet, Sydney. If you don't put Sydney on this new era cast,
Shit!
I forgot.
you're an
See,
idiot
that's what I'm
because
talking about.
she'll
41
tell
had a
you.
lot of. I forgot Sydney.
Yeah, Sydney will tell you you're an idiot.
And that's what I love. I love Sydney.
Yeah.
I love Sydney. I think she's got a great personality. I think she would have been great if she just got past that merge.
Oh yeah,
That merge.
but I think she did enough. I mean, just like what we saw, her exit and everything we've seen on social media since.
Right.
Number one, sorry Jesse, love you. Sorry Xander, sorry everyone. I love so many people that we've mentioned tonight. Number one with a bullet is Sydney.
Yeah, Sydney does rule. I could get on board with that.
Whoa, hey,
yeah,
you're married.
Yeah. But yes,
we all technically are.
Yeah, great picks.
So
we're all kind of on the same on. We have a couple of same, but there are some different. You named the Sydney, and Mike, you named Tiffany.
Yeah,
Tiffany's great. But yeah, wow. So how are we gonna get to narrow this down? Because
we got to narrow it to 8, and there are 6 seasons.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Does it need to be 4 male, 4 female?
Yeah. Okay. So from 41, I think, are we all in agreement? Sydney makes the cut. We're done. Sydney makes the cut on our cast of 8. One of the 4 females.
Let me look. Yeah, I would put out of the yes. I'm down with Sydney.
Okay, I'm down.
You down with that? Okay, so that leaves 3 females.
Do you want to just knock out the females real quick?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so the available females, we have for me personally, I had Carla, Carolyn, Emily, and Venus is left on my list.
I can't argue with any of those, but out of those, I got to go with Emily, Carolyn, and who's the other one you said?
Venus. I think Venus or Venus. You have recency bias. I feel if we're looking through the lens of production.
Yeah. All right, I'm in. That's good for me.
So yeah, I'm down with Carolyn, Emily, and Venus. That's the list, correct? That's what we're discussing for the last 3. Yeah, because I did have Carla on there, but
I know I want Carla there too, but I just feel like this dynamic is
I gotta be honest, I would put Carla ahead of Venus. I just think Carla's better than Venus.
I do too, but I'm just looking through the lens of production.
Yeah.
I personally choose Carla over Venus. However, I'm casting Venus.
I mean, here's the thing. with Venus, she could be a first boot. She could be so polarizing the first episode.
Great.
I know, but at least we'll get more from Carla because she'll be smart enough to lay low a little bit and play the game, and then she'll give us more in the long run.
Yeah, but so will the other 16 people we're casting.
Yeah.
or sorry, 2020.
I just don't think I don't think Venus is better than Carla. That's just my.
I don't
agree
think
with
Venus is
that.
better than Carl either. But however, I'm looking through, if I'm casting, I'm casting Venus. If I'm looking through their lens, especially recency bias, and Q and Carl, once again, we're talking about those duos, Q and Venus together. You want Q's feathers ruffled.
Yeah.
So are we? Name the four that were
Temporarily. We're at Sydney, Emily, Carolyn, and Venus, but we have the right to come back based on our guy picks.
Okay.
If the Q's not there, we don't need Venus.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay. All right. So let's talk guys. I'm gonna work backwards on this. I'm starting 46. I got Q because I think they love Q and Q is coming back.
So Johnny, let me make sure you're not going what you really think. You're going by what production would think.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm both. I'm using what I want, and I use what I want to throw out the names, and then I'm narrowing it down to what we think they're going to do.
Okay. All right.
So
that's fair.
two different lenses. We said what we want, and now let's try to figure out what we think they're going to do.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Okay. So I got Q, and then I got hold on, Caleb. I got Jam. I got Jesse. I got Jonathan and Mike. And I got Xander, Ricard, and there. Okay, so let's.
I'm going to circle my four right now on my piece of paper.
Okay, so can we lock in Q?
I'm down with Q.
I think they love Q.
I'm down with it, but I'm not the biggest Q fan in terms of games.
I'm peek behind the curtain. I don't love Q. How do I think Q's great TV? Yeah. And I'm making a TV show at the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I got Q. We got to have some winners here.
Listen, you got to have Jonathan now.
Okay. I think Jonathan's a lock. Okay.
Yep. I agree.
Okay. Okay. So Q's a lock. Jonathan's a lock. I think Jesse's a lock just for the moment, the greatest moment in the history of the new era. Sorry.
Oh, I definitely Jesse Lopez is one of my number ones for.
Okay, so now we have Mike, Jam, and Caleb, Xander, Ricard, and Danny McRae.
So what do we need?
One spot left.
And what do we need? Does it matter, or are we looking just by production? Because if you're looking at production, honestly, if you're looking through production's eyes for entertainment, you might go with Jam.
I think they're going Jam because I think we got to float in some winners here, and actually going back to the girls, I subtract Venus, I'll replace her with D.
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest. I think I'm better than any of the guys you picked so far.
This ain't my list, Mike. I'm just saying we started with what we want and what we like and what we think is great. Now we've switched to the production cap. So going back to the girls, Sydney, Emily, Carolyn. Oh, are they dumping Sydney for Venus? Because I think D is on that girl list. And I think Jam is on the guy list.
Okay, if you think Sydney's on the list, then I'm sorry. If you think,
so wait, you think Sydney's on production's list? I don't.
No.
We're cutting her and adding.
I think our girls list is Emily, Carolyn, Venus, and D.
Yeah, I would agree. From a production standpoint, that would be your list.
Yeah, I don't like it, But once again, I don't like you not being on the on the next list I'm about to make. So I think the guys list is Q, Jam, Jesse, and Jonathan.
Ricard's cut.
I think so. I think we're getting two winners on this.
Yeah.
So yeah, the thing that sucks if Jam, that would not, because I would like to see Q, Mike, Jonathan, and Jesse Lopez.
Let's just think about it in the grand scheme. Okay, season 50. We have 3 tribes. This is for argument's sake. We have old school, new era. You don't think we're getting Boston Rob, Parvati, Sandra, Tony Vlachos?
Yeah, right.
You don't think we're getting them? You don't think we're getting the Mount Rushmore?
Mm-hmm. We're getting all those people.
Yeah, we're getting those 4 people.
Yes.
They've all won.
We're getting Rupert.
Yeah,
I would think maybe. But yes, the winners. Yeah.
So I mean, there are 6 people we've just locked in, guaranteed, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. 4 of those are previous winners.
So you have Jam, Q, Jesse, and Jonathan.
Yeah. And then Emily, Carolyn, Venus, and Dee.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty solid. I could see production going down that.
Hey, but Mike, let's open it up a little bit. What if it's 3 tribes of 10? Boom! I got Mike Turner on there. I got Sydney. We're good.
Yeah. We're all good. All right, we'll call production 3 tribes of 10. The hell with it.
Yeah. What's wrong with 3 tribes of 10? I love a double elimination episode. They're my favorite.
Yeah.
So are you in agreement with that list of 4 and 4, Mike? Or
I got to be honest with you, I'm not as high on Jesse as you guys, and I know you're close to him. I'm just not as high on him as you guys.
Well, even if I wasn't close, I don't think it's about closeness for me. I'm not voting with my heart. If I'm voting with my heart, I'm just like I got you. My list is different.
Right, but here's the thing: is I think you're right. Jesse, he had a great moment.
History of the new era. Most people consider that the biggest move in the history of the new era.
I agree, but is that enough to get you on season 50?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Does the dead grandma not get me on there?
I think you were more than Jesse, and you were much more of a character. Besides the dead grandma, you were much more of a character. Listen, your first season was one of my favorite seasons of all time. You were one of my favorite players. No, I'm being serious. It was. I loved it. I loved Pearl Harbor. And you were one of my favorite. You and Rupert were my favorite characters by far. And I thought you played great. I thought you were entertaining. I don't feel that from Jesse. I could be wrong. I didn't feel that. I thought he had a couple good moves. I thought he was a little low key. I didn't think he was as big of a character as. Definitely not as big of a character as you.
So you feel he's overrated, kind of?
I think that one move, it's like hitting the biggest home run in the World Series, doesn't make you the greatest baseball player.
Mm-hmm.
I can see some validity to that. And I truth be told, I think Jesse would probably agree with you.
Yeah, I just think, I don't think, if we're going to go season 50 with the way we're talking.
But if you're casting 24 people, some people are being cast for that big move, to show that big move in the highlight, and you get some...
I don't think that's enough to get you on 50.
So who would your if you took Jesse out of the mix and you have Q, Jonathan,
Caleb, Mike, Danny McRae, Xander, Ricard.
You want to know the truth is I gotta go between Caleb, Ricard, and myself. Those are the next 3 that are in the queue that I think deserve the 4th spot.
And you would put any of those ahead of Jesse personally?
Yes.
Okay. I understand the argument.
Yeah, I definitely think overall those 3 people's games were better than Jesse's. He had a great move.
I think that I would agree. I think those games are. I think Caleb is probably below Jesse.
I think
just because we didn't see it. We didn't see enough.
But you know what I liked about Caleb's game more than Jesse? And I hate to say this, I just thought Caleb spoke
Yeah.
very well. And when he spoke, you listened, and you almost thought it was almost great that he was too smart and telling what he was thinking and what everybody should do, which
Yeah.
made it a better watch.
I
Because I'm
I
saying
really
this
enjoyed
guy's telling
watching
you how
him.
great he is, and you're leaving him in the game.
Yeah. I enjoyed watching him a lot.
I did too. I enjoyed Caleb a lot.
So do we save Jesse Lopez for like a second chances type thing and go with a different four? Like who do we have so far? Where we narrowed it down to?
Okay. So we're locked in on Q, Jam, and Jonathan.
Okay.
We can all agree on that.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, for the fourth.
Again,
Yeah.
obviously I would take myself, but I if I didn't get on because of Ricard and Caleb, I would understand.
I honestly am gonna go.
I'm throwing. You know what? I'm gonna throw Caleb on the second chance season because we didn't see enough. I love him. I think he's great. I think he would excel and thrive in this environment, but he didn't do enough.
Right, and to be honest with you, Johnny, I'm going by what your criteria, which is very valid. What would production want? And so I look at myself.
I think production wants the. I think the greatest moment in the history of the new era is Jesse. I think they want that moment at the beginning of the show to show it, and I don't think they care how well he does. And that's what I think production thinks.
I mean, you can argue.
Not
Ricard
every.
had some great moments.
You're not casting 24 people to win.
Right.
Back when they used to cast Survivor back in the day, they picked 3 people or 4 people they thought would win. They picked 3 people, 4 people that they knew would lose, and then they filled the rest with filler. That's how you made a show. Not everybody's a superstar.
Very true.
So
and again,
I think in the history of the new era, Jesse has the biggest move. I think they want to show that move in the first 30 minutes in the highlight reel, and then whatever happens with Jesse, they don't care.
I think
and I love Jesse. I love Jesse personally. I would love Jesse to thrive. So, but I mean, it would Caleb be better television potentially? However, I don't think Caleb did enough. I put him on second chance. Danny McRae, I like Danny McRae, but I didn't hear enough from the two of you, so I'm going to defer. Xander, I think we all love, and Xander is a genius for his age, but and he's eye candy for the ladies and gentlemen. So you know what we don't have anyone from 41, especially with Sydney out. I think Ricard takes that 4th spot.
Well, listen, I can live with it.
We have fans in the chat saying Mike over Jesse any day.
I bet. I get it. Mike. I mean, do we like Mike over? Do we like Mike over Ricard? We have no representation from 41.
Oh, we don't. You're right.
I mean,
and yeah, I know Ricard and Mike both lean the same way, So
Ricard,
there's that. We got
Ricard has some. I say it's Jonathan, Ricard, Jam, and Q. That's what you were saying. We're kicking Jesse off.
I think on paper. Oh no, no! I think they picked Jesse, but I mean, if you guys hate it,
But Jam is 100%. We're in agreement on that, or no?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so too. I think.
Okay, Jam we're in agreement on. Jonathan, we're in agreement on.
Jonathan, 100%.
Q, they love. So it's between.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on Q, but I can understand what you're saying about they love him. He's great TV. He'll stir the pot. He'll make things very uncomfortable for people, which I understand.
Yeah. So, and I'm seeing here Jesse over Jam Jam. Me and Jam Jam have each other blocked on social media. This ain't Jonny Fairplay's picks. This ain't Matt's picks. This ain't Mike's picks. This is what do we think production's potentially doing? Okay. So, and with that, they're in the Jam. Listen, I got the producer hat on. I'm casting Jam Jam. We got each other blocked. I'm having my fiance call him. Just like, hey, I know you blocked Jonny Fairplay and he blocked you, but would you do Survivor? I'm making that call.
Yeah,
right.
So Jam Jam, Q, Jonathan, and we just need one more.
I honestly think
Ricard is who it is.
Well, no,
or Jesse.
Oh.
Who's
a better second chance player, Ricard or Jesse? Like who checks that box better?
I think they.
Mike, we got you on second chance. We already got you there. Don't worry, brother.
That's all good.
Mike, we got you on Blood versus Water.
Yeah,
we got you and the missus on Blood versus Water.
Yeah, she'll kill me.
Yeah, I know. She'll vote you out. I'm here for it.
They'll definitely cut my throat.
Honestly, I'm going to go with Jesse. I'm going to go with Jam Jam, Jesse, Jonathan, and Q.
I think they like that moment.
Okay.
I do think Ricard could slide in there because there were some, big moments with Ricard.
No representation, but 41, potentially the best season of the new era with zero representation.
I agree. I think it's forgotten and underrated.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think they're gonna?
I think okay. Once again, if we open it up, I think Sydney's if it's 3 tribes of 10, I think Sydney's there, and let's put Mike there, or let's put Ricard there. I think 10 people, but I think we're doing 3 tribes of 8. I just think that's the most realistic thing we could ever hope for.
I agree.
We could debate the one versus Ricard versus Jesse. It could go on and on. It's crazy, but I think when all is said and done, we are looking at the cast of women, which would be Emily, Carolyn, Venus, and Dee.
Yeah.
That's solid. And
you know what? I'm not fighting if we do need some 41. I'll take Sydney over Venus.
Yeah, I would too.
So would I.
But I think they're picking Venus over Sydney.
Yeah, and that's that
I love
mind
Venus
as well.
I love Venus. Too. Yeah. So okay. And then for the guys,
yes, go ahead, Johnny. Name
them. Q, Jam Jam, Jonathan, and Jesse.
And like we said, this isn't because like I said, if it were up to me, it would probably be Matt from season 44. It'd be Jonathan and Mike Turner.
I got. If we're casting and we're allowed to tell production what's. Mike, I definitely have you and Jonathan out there together. I have Q and Venus out there together. I'm fucking up some stuff that is not presentation wise, what, is the if I'm making good TV, that's what makes good TV. You and Jonathan together, Q and Venus together, Jeremy and I want these combinations. Ricard and Shan.
Right,
I have them out there. So because that's just better television. I want bickering and I want camaraderie and I want it all in one versus here's what we've told you is awesome.
Very true.
Well, that was fun. It was cool just to think back on the players.
Mike's just change my fucking summer vacation.
No, I hope you're on.
Hey, Mike, listen, I got you on Blood versus Water.
I hope production disagrees with us.
I hope we did a horrible job.
So I'm assuming, Johnny, the next 2 weeks we're going to be doing the
Yeah,
old
we're
school era.
gonna. I guess next week let's shoot. I can't guarantee the order based on who we're gonna have help us out, but next week I'm gonna have a new school person
Nice.
help us, and then for the last one, or maybe revert, we'll see. We'll have a old school person.
Cool.
So,
You want to throw out
Mike,
some names?
I got a question. Since you can send in your vote by proxy here. You put Jonny Fairplay in the old school tribe? No, if I wasn't here.
100%. I think you're one of the greatest characters in the history of Survivor.
Stop it.
I'm being serious. By the way, you speak about the greatest moments in Survivor, like with Jesse for the new era. I think your moment is the one that is the greatest moment in the history of Survivor that people still look to and talk about. Like they might not even joke Jonny Fairplay, but they've heard about the dead grandma.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's an iconic show and one of the most iconic moment in history. Listen, it's the only moment that I always remembered from Survivor. And obviously I remember it was from you. It was just so crazy at the time. Because you have to remember, you did that when people didn't go that route.
No, they
you know what I'm
didn't.
saying? People didn't go that route.
Yeah.
And what made it even better is that everybody, and understandably, believed you. I believed you. And when you came to your confessional, that's one of the first confessional moments where you went, what? Well, you got your... And like, it was just immediate, like people falling off their couch, jumping. And you created that where I think a lot of other Survivor greats emulated that in terms of that shocking moment of doing something that shocked the audience.
Oh, thank you.
Right.
Thank
And
you.
I'm being serious.
You're making me blush, or
It's the
it's
truth.
the beer. It's actually it's a low carb. It probably isn't the beer.
Well, killer. This is going to be super fun. So everyone stay tuned. And Johnny, I mean, we have a lot of other podcasts that are going on
Oh, we have a ton
the
of
Reality
stuff.
After Show Network.
It's
Wendell's doing one. We got the Reality Queens, Reality Kings challenge coverage. Take a look at, just follow everything we got going on YouTube.
yeah.
And
we announced on the Patreon last night before. Guess what? We have a new Big Brother podcast. Well, I guess it'll continue after Big Brother. Sari and Jared have a new podcast here coming up. Get ready.
Nice.
Wow.
Yes.
We're ready for that, were you?
No, people, it's going to be great. And Mike, thank you so much. It's always
Anytime.
a pleasure. It's we have to see you, whether you're on season 50 or some other season,
or at my house.
We have to see you.
No, hey, listen, guys, I appreciate you having me. It's always a lot of fun, man. It really is a lot of fun.
I love you, Mike. Hey, you're first ballot in my heart.
Thank you. I love. Listen, you actually said I have a cameo that proves it.
Yeah, it's true. You know what? When Jesse calls, just say, "Hey, I don't know if you guys have narrowed down anything, but I'd just like to play this for you."
I'm just worried it's going to hurt me more than help me, so I got to be careful.
There is that. So maybe kayfabe the cameo, brother.
Yeah.
Awesome, Mike. I love you so much. Where can everybody
I love
find
you
on
guys.
social
Thank
media?
you so much.
Where are you on social media?
Oh, Hoboken Mike T on Instagram. And Facebook.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or
I
go
just
to
don't have time to do all the
Hoboken
other
Mike
ones.
F. I have a fake Instagram account in which I just
Hoboken
put
Mike T.
pics.
Listen, I love one of the best things that ever happened to Survivor. That most of the fans call me Hoboken Mike, which I love because I love Hoboken and
You
kind
do?
of like.
Hold on.
And I got my own beer because of Jonny Fairplay.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Mike's got his own beer.
Yeah,
Hold on.
my own beer.
Oh, yes.
The
One of my
Hoboken
treasures,
Whisper.
and I'm not kidding you. It's one of my things that I treasure. I have it. It's on my shelf, and everybody says, "Holy crap, you have a beer?" I said, "Of course I do. Me and Jonny Fairplay."
That's awesome.
There's
that
Mike.
rules.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
How great is that?
By the way, I didn't know he was doing that. And when he showed it to me, I almost thought he was lying to me until I really looked at it. And I got to be honest with you, I'm serious. It was one of the coolest things that somebody's ever done for me.
I don't want it to be a surprise. I'm so glad I could do that for you. Mike, I love you. As I said, you're first ballot in my heart. I mean, I'm just looking through the asshole producer lens.
Yeah, you heard that, Matt, right? I'm the first person.
You are the greatest. We love you, and we will see everyone next week for the continuation of our cast for season 50, predictions and whatnot. We'll see you next time. We love you all. Cheers.